Who is your daddy? I am your father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
Yeah.
All right, we good?
I'm good.
Do it.
Yeah, I think it was trying to use the wrong microphone. So.
All right, so anyways, we were talking about my shirt, which is Deadpool. It says I literally cannot, for those who are not watching our YouTube, which is 12.5 views we get, I think, the average. So
you're welcome.
Not a lot of people watching. But anyways, it's Deadpool saying I literally cannot, and he's nodding a nod. Anyway, so my wife always says that everything I wear is childish and stupid. Basically, I'm a 40-year-old man, or I'm a 16-year-old boy trapped in a 40-year-old man's body.
Trapped in a 12-year-old's pants.
That's the truth. Hey, I actually
that was a good one. That was a good one.
I got an update on my pants.
Let's pause and enjoy that one for a second. That's pretty good.
I got an update on my pants. So I still wear the super duper tight pants because I really do like how they look. But
sure,
I have decided, on the recommendation of my wife, to buy tight pants, but instead of skinny leg, buy straight leg. So they're still tight in my thigh, but they come down and they're not sucked to my calf muscle.
Listen,
so
as long as we can see the important parts, I think we're all good.
So she's super into tight thighs. She doesn't care about the rest of your body, just the tight thighs.
I mean, if it was up to her, I'd probably wear just a black bag over everything.
That
like
says
a moo-moo. Big old moo-moo.
Piece of trash on it.
Yeah. You piece of But anyway, so back to my story. So last weekend, I actually went to her work Christmas party. And, I don't know anybody. Well, I know her boss. That's it. And so we end up sitting across from this younger couple. So I'm 40, my wife's 39. This couple's probably 20, 21 at the most. And I can tell the guy's into the football games on. So I'm like, oh, is one of your favorite teams playing? And it was LSU, Georgia. And he's like, no, actually I hate both these teams. I'm a Gators fan. So we start talking. By the end of the night, so I'm there. I'm thinking we're only going to be there for an hour and a half. We were there for 3.5 hours. I talked to the guy for 3.5 hours.
Aww.
And we connected on everything. By the end of the night, my wife and his girlfriend were making fun of me because they're like, you're literally a 16-year-old boy trapped. I was like, yeah, man, I love video games. I love football. And I'm like, I'm into music. He's like, yeah, so am I. We were connecting on every level.
Your wife must be literally is my husband actually gay? He talks to this Hassan guy. He's obsessed with
we started talking, and about 10 minutes in the conversation, she just got up and moved her table. She started eating with another group, and I was like,
I think you need to show her this game we're going to talk about here in a few minutes called Boyfriend Dungeon. She's going to love it. She's going to love it.
Probably will.
Yeah, she needs some eye candy.
She's a huge fan of me, and I'm a huge fan of her.
Of me.
That's why I joined that trucker group. Because I hate my wife, bro.
Oh, seriously? I was gonna bring that up. Can you stop inviting me to that? For the love of God,
not even just stop inviting us. Just destroy the group, please. Stop.
Just
stop it. Tim, do you still get the pop-ups of the posts of the group or?
No,
I'm getting posts. I'm seeing the posts, and I did not accept the invite.
Ooh,
leave me alone.
Ooh. I'm gonna re-invite you. Hell yeah,
please,
brother.
Please stop.
Trump 2020.
Please stop.
All I know is that you end
this.
If you comment in that group, you have to end most posts with things like "I hate my wife," things like that. That's how you have to close out the.
I legit was in my car at my son's practice for 2 hours reading these posts, dying laughing. I cannot believe the stuff people are writing, and then I'm responding. They all write in caps. They don't spell anything right. They're just like, hell yeah, brother. Trump 2020.
So did Sasan create this and there are legitimate people joining this being tools?
No, I invited Sasan. He didn't know about it.
Some of the people posting it appears to me at a glance from some of the screenshots you guys have taken. Some of the people know it's a joke and are playing it up for for sure.
Of course,
But some
of course.
seem like they're not.
Like one of them, no, some of them are real. So one of them was like talking about like you better be like 100% a trucker if you're in this group or whatever. So I commented on there and I posted a picture of me, doing one of my selfies in my tight pants and stuff. I was like, I'm 100% a trucker. It's like a picture of me.
Yeah, you're the
like
most
a gay
metrosexual
16-year-old.
trucker I've ever seen.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
All
great
right.
time. I absolutely love that group.
So either you got to close out each post with either "I hate my wife" or "Trump 2020" or "FU four wheelers." Something like that is how you
Wheelers
need to wrap
with a
it
Z
up.
though, right?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
with a
fine.
Z?
Either way is fine.
And you have to spell everything wrong. If you spell anything right, they already know you're a fraud.
Yeah, use a shorthand version if it's there. Otherwise, just misspellings are generally welcomed and encouraged. It appears. Yeah.
Please cease this.
So I think we could get into the show, and before we get into the show, I just want to say welcome back. We've taken a 2-week break?
2-week break, yeah.
Yeah. We weren't supposed to do that, guys. The whole point of adding Daniel was to not take breaks, but I actually feel like we take more breaks. And here, let's be honest. Let's just be real right now. The reason we're taking more breaks is because I think Tim and I secretly hate Daniel, and we don't like recording with him, and we have to like get a break from him. So we have to create this energy so we can be in a room or an area where we hear his voice.
I'm sorry that you
I actually think
a
it's
16-year-old girl with me and talk about sports. So
he did have long hair too.
Oh, well, that's cute.
He was totally a surfer.
Did you get it? Did you get them digits?
I did. I tried. I was like, hey. So
All right, we got episode
friends.
189 of Fathers of the Grind here, and thank you, Derek, for that intro. Hey, by the way, that noise, we're not really going to talk much about stuff we're playing now. We got to jump right into a bunch of news stuff and a bunch of announcements. But I did start playing After Party a little bit, and I've heard that sound twice already in that game.
Well, yeah, if you're at a party, you got to...
Yeah, it's in there twice.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about what we're playing real quick, just because... Did you talk about on the last time we recorded that a Plague Tales Innocent game? I hit the keywords just out of order.
No, I didn't. I'm going to talk about it when we get into our Game of the Year debates. Okay. It's certainly going to come up. But yeah, I'll just give you a quick rundown from me. By the way, we meant to take Thanksgiving week off. We all had stuff going on. It's hard to schedule. So we knew we were going to take 1 week off. The next week, my wife and daughter got in a car accident. They're both totally fine, although my wife did get her head jerked around quite a bit by the airbag stuff. Airbags suck, by the way, in old cars. But anyway, so she got jostled around a bit. She got to go to the chiropractor, but insurance is covering stuff. Car is totaled, but they're going to give us a little bit of money for it, which is good. So everyone's good.
Okay, though?
Yeah, but that accident actually happened the night we were planning to record, so I was totally out. So that's why that happened, and Daniel and Derek were both very...
I was super confused. Derek knew what was going on. I was like, is anybody gonna...
I see his wife.
It seemed concerning. I was
just to be real for a second, I was really annoyed, and I was really annoyed that Katie took time to post it on Facebook. I was like, I have so many other things to do right now. Don't post the picture of the car and your accident info on Facebook yet.
I didn't see any of that because I'm not friends with
Cops
her.
haven't even arrived yet. Just wait for a bit. But anyway, she was in a little bit of shock too. So she was, and she was freezing. She was trying to find things to do, she said, with her hands. And so 2 of the windows were rolled down. She had rolled them down at first because the smell was so bad. But then,
face it, Tim, you married a female version of me. You know I would totally be like this. Like, gosh.
Selfie.
The car behind me is broke. But look at this. This guy ain't no joke.
But my daughter's 6, and she's in full brag mode now. Now that she was very scared, but once she kind of calmed down, she went into very much like... I've overheard her talking to her older brother saying things like, yeah, that was the first car accident I've been in my entire life.
I survived. I'm so brave.
Yeah, she's so brave. All right, so anyway, that's why we didn't record last week. Thank you guys for your patience with that. But now we're back. We've got a lot to cover to recap from this past week, a really full week of news and the Game Awards and stuff. And then we're going to jump in with some special guests over the next few weeks into Game of the Year debates. I'm not necessarily in as much of a rush as I have been in the past to post these all like by New Year or something. I actually feel like we might get our final section of the Game of the Year debates out in that first week of January. But again, I'm not in a huge hurry to do that because people are still playing 2019 games. I don't know why Game Awards has their cutoff so early in November, to be honest with you. But anyway.
Also, side note, our special guest is also Vin Diesel.
Yes, it is. Just like at the Game Awards.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so I am playing a little bit of After Party, although I'm already really bored with it. The art's kind of cool and the writing is pretty
really?
clever, but I'm already kind of like, do I want to play this right now? Like, I don't know.
That's the Oxenfree.
It's
guys,
the Oxenfree guys. Yeah, it's creative
Okay.
and it's interesting and kind of funny, but I don't know. My interest level just isn't really there. At the
That's
moment.
a shame because it looked interesting when I saw it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I've only played it for like an hour, but it's okay. It's kind of funny, but anyway, as Derek mentioned, I played through and finished A Plague Tale: Innocence that went on sale alongside with Greedfall. So I got both for less than $60 total. What was that? Did you just have were you just attacked by the ghost of some
Pterodactyl?
dead woman?
No, Ian just shot Eli with like a Nerf gun, and I don't
okay.
think he was like. I don't
It sounded
think he
like a terror-
expected
that-
it, and he freaked out.
It
Yeah.
literally sounded like a pterodactyl.
Do you remember in The Witcher 3 when you get attacked by a wraith? It was a little bit like that. All right. So anyway, I played through A Plague Tale: Innocence. This game it's shot right into the top contention for one of my favorite games of the year. It's so good. Really, really good game. If nothing else, for story and things like that. So I love this game a lot. And the other thing I wanted to just mention that I recommend, because it's free on all platforms, is Dauntless. It's a really fun, free-to-play kind of Monster Hunter
I
co-op
didn't
game.
like it.
And the only reason I'm having a blast with it, because I tried it single player and thought it was okay, and that was it. Playing it with my kiddos is a blast, because they all...
I could see that being fun, but when I played it by myself,
playing it by myself was okay, but I was like, I don't know, I don't want to do this. But playing it with my 3 boys on a combination of an Xbox One X and right now 3 Switches. That'll change after Christmas. One of the boys is getting an Xbox One S.
Cool.
But anyway...
Poor kid.
But it's a blast. It's really fun.
Still
So we all got
not
our own little
relevant.
epic accounts, and we have run a bunch of those missions together. Anyway, it's pretty fun if you've got a group to play with, especially if you've got, I would say, younger kiddos that you're looking for a game to play with them. It is pretty fun. So that's my quick recap of what I'm playing. You guys want to mention anything before we dive into?
I just have
games?
a couple of games. I started that A Plague Tale or whatever. I got on the Xbox One X, I got to Chapter 4. Because I liked what I played, I found it on sale on PC for $20. So I went ahead and bought it because I wanted to see if it looked better and ran better. And of course, it does.
Okay.
I still think it looks good on Xbox One X. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely
the big drawback is I think the face animations when they're talking isn't always great.
Honestly, it feels like, and I think it's the same publishers. It feels like Greedfall as far as the way it looks and like even like the animations and stuff like that. It's that trying to be a AAA game, but it's more of a AA experience.
And the difference though is, and I only played Greedfall for a hot second, not very long yet. I do plan on playing it. The difference is in Greedfall, you look ridiculous when you run. You look so dumb when you run.
You look like you have a stick up your butt.
It looks so stupid. And the movement in Plague Tale, for some of its drawbacks, is actually really good. And you can tell your characters are scared, and that stuff is really good.
Yeah, so the point is I actually liked it enough to invest on PC. So I started on PC. I got through Chapter 2 of PC. Nice. So I plan on playing it. I'd like to hopefully finish it, but I say that every show. Like, I get into these games. I haven't finished Star Wars. I didn't finish The Outer World, and I was hooked on them in the beginning. And
I will say this, though, Derek. I know you like a good twist. Plague Tale has a couple of really interesting twists and kind of I think a pretty cool story when it's all said and done.
Let me outline it because it might be something Daniel and our listeners are interested in. Okay, so the first thing about this game is it does have gameplay, so it's not like a walking simulator. Because I kind of thought it was like this story-heavy, like walking simulator type game with puzzles and stuff. There is gameplay. So far, what I've played is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
A lot of it is stealth, but it's not that hard. And there's like little puzzles in the stealth, meaning like because you're getting attacked by hordes and hordes of rats, you have to stay in the light. So that's kind of your puzzle, is activating areas where you can get light so you don't get attacked. All right, hold on one second. Guys, I already told you I'm recording. Either go in your room or don't talk.
Cracking a whip.
Yeah.
All right, so anyways, so there is gameplay. The gameplay so far is pretty fun. What I was surprised about, and I think I commented on one of Tim's posts or maybe on my own post about it too, Tim, is how like dark the game is.
Yeah.
Like the story of it.
Well,
Very
this takes
dark.
place during
Very
the Black
dark.
Plague, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
the 14th century in France.
Yeah.
But it's just really dark. And the beginning, I'm not going to spoil it. Couple things happen in the beginning. There's already things that I think from playing video games and watching movies as much as I have in the 40 years that I've existed on this earth. There are a couple things that I think I think they're trying to set up as you think this, but it didn't really happen. And so I already believe I know some of the twists. But I think the thing that's hooking me is the story. So I do say on here all the time, like, I'm gameplay now, whereas old school Derek was all about story. This is a game I'm actually going, okay, I want to finish it. That's why I asked him, how long is this? Because I'm hoping it's not 20 hours or something stupid. I was actually hoping it was shorter. Because I want to get through the story. I want to see how it ends. So
It's not super difficult, so I mean, you'll move through it. I'm thankful for that. There's only a handful of boss fights, and by the way, I think those are really good. There's 2 boss fights specifically that jump out at me. There's not that many. I think there might be only 2 or 3. And the final one especially, but the one before that, they're both surprisingly well done. And you mentioned gameplay. I did want to give that a shout out. For a game that's primarily story-driven, kind of adventure puzzle game, it does have some combat. You can use your sling, and there's a surprising number of upgrades, by the way, and
that was the other
shot
thing I was
types
going to mention. Yeah.
for your sling. But there's also a couple of boss fights that make you really you have to figure out how to use your environment and also how to use your special sling ammo. It's
But
pretty
it is
cool.
mostly stealth, though, right? Because I remember,
It's
was
nuts.
it Ben Moore?
Because you have a kid. You have a kid with you.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
say,
right.
Well,
did
it's
you
your
get a
brother,
Last of Us vibe at all, or any other game where you're kind of trying to help a little kid and you build this relationship as the main character with this younger, vulnerable one who you kind of build? Oh, even like The Walking Dead season 1, and you build a little bit of this connection, almost like a parental protection for this little kid because he's kind of adorable. The voice acting is all pretty good, and you feel scared for him because he's so little. Right, in this super scary world. So I think they did a good job of that too. The same way The Walking Dead season 1 did with Clem, and the same way that Last of Us did with Ellie. While you're Joel, like you kind of feel protective and worried for them because they're smaller, and you're trying to protect them.
And especially since I played through the beginning a second time, so I was paying attention to what they were saying more. You can tell that this kid is being protected for a reason. Like there's something special about this kid because there's something off about him. So it's gonna tie into the story. So I think in the girl that you're playing as is his sister, right? So
she is, yeah, but she barely knows
doesn't.
him.
But she barely knows them, and she doesn't really like him.
So they are brother and sister. That's what I thought.
They're brother and sister, but they haven't had much contact throughout his
because
life.
he's kind of been hidden away or whatever.
And then these circumstances kind of force them together where now she's in a spot where she's got to protect him and try to get him somewhere. So
that is mysterious.
So I think it's worth it. Like it's on sale right now. I think on consoles for $25 for these.
Yeah, I was just checking because I'm gonna probably buy it. So.
I think you should buy it. And then I got it.
So
on
it's
PC for
it's
20.
about 16 chapters. A few of those are super short. They're mostly like some story moment, but most of them have a decent amount of gameplay to them. So it can be a relatively lengthy game. There are
It takes about 10 hours.
There are some secrets to find, but you don't have to go look for those because there are things you can upgrade. But I think they make it pretty easy to find all the items you need to upgrade. They do have a couple of kind of last-ditch effort items they give you. There's 2 specifically, like when you're getting overwhelmed by rats, there's an item you eventually can craft that essentially gives you 1 free save. That gets all the rats off of you one time. You can get back to safety. But crafting that uses up some of the really rare material that you usually have set aside for upgrades. So you kind of have to make a decision. Do I want to restart to a checkpoint so I can keep my upgrade materials, or do I want to have an item on hand all the time ready to... And that there's something they do that for human characters that are attacking you too. So they give you some choices. Is it more important to upgrade stuff or what?
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff
I think I was just surprised it's so gamey. I think that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
like I really thought this was going to be like a Telltale's type experience. That's why I didn't buy it. Like this
is where we all wanted
reviews.
Telltale to go, right? This is what we wanted them to do.
I think this is what we wanted from Telltale's. We wanted like a game that had a great narrative, really good with characters, but also had gameplay.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to play it. I am gonna probably play it after we record the show. The other thing, and I will make this quick because we do have a long show ahead of us. I bought last weekend Darksiders Genesis. I didn't realize it released on PC last weekend. So I purchased that. That's super cool. Like, if you like Diablo games, and I'm not the biggest Diablo fan, but I absolutely love what I've played of it. Like, it plays really, really good. It looks amazing. The Darksiders franchise has always had a good narrative. Like, they've always had, like, this solid story and a lot of mystery on what's going on with that. I've always enjoyed the lore in those games. This is a totally different experience. It doesn't play like the Darksiders games at all. But
it's like a Diablo style game, right?
Yeah, but if you've played Darksiders, you'll recognize some of the special moves and stuff because you're still playing as the characters in the Darksiders game.
That's cool.
It has their voice acting and all that stuff.
PC only at the moment, right? Or is it on consoles?
PC only, but it is coming to consoles.
Coming, yeah.
But I will say this. I think it's $40 on consoles. It's worth it. If you're into those Diablo-style games, definitely get it on day one when it comes out. I was able to get it for $25. So I'm completely okay with that. That's, again, for those people that don't understand why I love PC gaming, that's why. Yes, you invest a lot up front. Yes, if you have to upgrade your system, which I've had this for 2 years, I've not upgraded one thing. It costs a lot up front. But the discounts I get on every single game. I get brand new games for $30 to $35. This one's a $15 discount that I just talked about. I just got that Plague game for $20 instead of everybody else has to pay $25. Yeah. So stuff like that. That's why I enjoy, and it looks better. And
dude, the Steam sales were some of my happiest times with video game shopping.
They've gotten a little bit worse because
I know, but remember back in the day, I'm talking like it was probably the most recent one I looked at was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but back then the sales were crazy good, and then they have a new wave of games like every day of the sale. It was.
I think
was really
because cool. And we'll move on, but like Epic is trying to take over Steam. Epic is doing that. They don't have like crazy sales. They did for a little bit. Like I bought that game Hades by I forgot that developer that Sasan like tries to suck off every day. But Hades is their new game, but it's only on PC. Well, Epic had like this deal where they were having games on sale. So let's say the game's $60, it was on sale for $40, and then they were giving an additional $10 off for just buying it on their site. So I ended up getting that Hades game for like $8 when it's a $25 game. And that was like when it first launched. But they give games away free every week. Yeah. So it's better than like PS Plus and all that stuff because I don't pay them any money. All I do is download, create an account, and then they give me free games. The free game I got this week was The Wolf Among Us. Yeah. So we're not talking about trash games. I get really good games. I also bought like Ghost Recon for $5. I got the Watch Dogs 2 for $5 on there for PC.
Jeez.
It's crazy some of the deals I get and then the free games. So anyways, that's my PC thing. Let's move on to the show and let's try to get through.
Daniel, anything you're playing now that you
he doesn't matter. We don't care. Nobody cares.
Gee, thanks, Tim. It's very generous of you. So polite. No, so my wife and I finished the main arc of Pokemon. I'm just in the process of collecting all the Mons, so I think I need about 50 altogether, including evolutions. So I'm actually pretty close because there's 400 altogether. It's actually way easier now because I haven't played like a more modern Pokemon game where it's just way more streamlined as far as like, because with trading you don't have to be near someone. It's almost just kind of like everyone connects to a server and it's just like, hey, I'm looking to trade, and then you connect with someone and then you kind of basically choose like, I want to trade this Pokemon, and then it sends them what you want to trade, and then they show you what they want to trade, and if you both agree, then you trade Pokemon. So it's way easier to fill out the Pokedex, I think.
Yeah, I remember doing that in one of the more recent DS ones, where you basically just say, hey, I'm willing to give this one up, and I'm looking for fill in the blank. And someone around the world is like, yep, I need that to fill out my collection, so I'll swap you.
Yeah, so that sounds pretty much exactly what it is. I haven't played the past couple generations of Pokemon, so I was a little more old school thinking of how it was done. But
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I liked it. Everyone was complaining about it. All the Poke nerds, oh, all 1,000 Pokemon aren't on there. It's like, well, I mean, it's still an enjoyable experience, I think, and it's technically the first console full-fledged Pokemon game. I mean, does it look as amazing as we all dreamed in our heads? No. Are all the Pokemon there? No. But I mean, it's still really fun. There's new Pokemon. I think it's a good first step. I mean, again, they definitely have like Game Freak and just the Pokemon franchise as a whole. There's so much money in that whole thing that it is kind of weird that it is weird that they can't just like maybe kind of like buckle down and just like make like a Breath of the Wild type of Pokemon game, but they don't have to, clearly, because they sold how many millions? Like 6, I think.
I think they're doing just fine.
Yeah, so they don't have to make that game that a lot of the hardcore Pokemon fans want. They don't need to. So
yeah, I don't mind the old cartoony style. And honestly, now that I told you we're playing Dauntless, I mean, the performance on the Switch, of course, is not as good as it is on the other consoles.
Yeah.
But it does make me appreciate when a game runs super smoothly. And so I feel like I'd rather it be kind of a more cartoony art style and run smoothly.
Yeah.
But
and it does chug a little bit in the wild area when you're connected. To the internet, which is funny because it's not like, again, the most visually intensive game, but other than that, I think it runs pretty smooth. So
okay.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying getting close to collecting all the Pokemon. Yeah, it's fun. And cool. Still have not finished Death Stranding. Still have not finished it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's still
well. It didn't win Game of the Year, so obviously you shouldn't waste your time.
Praise God.
Kojima
we'll get to that.
Robbed.
We'll get to that in a little bit. I did want to mention real quick. So I'm a huge fan of ActRaiser. I've talked about that before. I grabbed Sega's kind of spiritual successor, Soul Seraph. I don't really recommend it to most people because if you aren't already an ActRaiser fan, it's kind of an obtuse game design. And you won't really, like, what are they trying to do? If you're already an ActRaiser fan, you'll see they're essentially mimicking the exact format. I just don't think they improve on it. So, like, the old ActRaiser had a really stiff and kind of unplayable almost action sequences, side-scrolling. But since I was used to it, I was fine with it because that's just what I grew up with and I knew it. I always thought if someone creates a new version of ActRaiser, they're going to make that side-scrolling combat so good. It's going to be great. But they didn't really improve it at all. It's kind of the same... And then the overworld stuff is now just less grid-based, and it's still that same thing. You're kind of this floating entity that's trying to help people grow their city. But the difference now is that instead of shooting little heaven arrows at these demons that are flying at you, you're actually helping them build a tower defense style city as enemies come up these predetermined paths at your city. So it's okay. It's just not amazing. If you are really into ActRaiser, it might be worth taking a look at on sale. Also, I did grab the Assassin's Creed Rogue Collection and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on Switch. It runs so well, and I can't believe it. Like I'm out.
Does it look good though?
It looks great. It looks really good. So I played it on the big screen too, and I think it looks good. I did notice on the big screen some stutter in the city. Not bad, but it was certainly there. But the game didn't freeze up or lock up and during combat, it's been fine. And on handheld, it runs really, really smoothly for me. So I'm having no problem with it. And I forgot how much I love that game. I love the ship battles. I know it's not for everybody, but I really love how they did that. And the pirating is super fun. So love what they did. Love what they did with that. I think they really nailed it. I think they got a bad rap on Assassin's Creed 3, which I have read. They've patched to the point now where it's actually a pretty decent version of Assassin's Creed 3.
Okay.
But as far as most people are concerned, they wrote it off as a really crappy port. But I guess it's been patched enough now that it's actually not too.
I mean, it's still one of the worst.
It's still one of the worst AC
versions.
games.
Yeah,
right. Correct
for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of Nintendo, let's jump into the least important of these three things we want to cover from this past week, and that was the Nindie Direct that aired this past week. A few things that I think are certainly worth talking about and getting excited about. A lot of it, it's okay to not care about it unless you're a fan of the developer.
Derek cares about all of these.
Derek will care about
I am
2 of these. I'm going to guess 2.
Officially zoned out. Have a great time.
He's going to care about 2 of these. I talked a ton about how much I really loved Golf Story from a couple years ago. Well, they've got a sequel coming out in mid-2020 called Sports Story. very similar art style, but now they're adding in things like tennis, and I saw a little bit of soccer and a couple other things in there.
Football.
So, Sports Story is coming out mid-2020. Streets of Rage 4 looks like it's getting work done. I imagine that's all consoles, but it looks
good.
It looks like a really cool upgrade to our
Yeah.
old classic beat 'em up style arcade game.
I'm excited about that one.
I think it said first half of 2020 for that one. Gleamlight is from the Bloodstained devs, I believe. It's coming in early 2020. It is a side-scroller where you're in the stained glass world. You're actually a sword. And they made a big deal about there's no obvious UI or text to read. Like, we kind of know what it is you're going to try to do as a gamer. So I'm not sure if Gleamlight will be any good or not. One of the dumbest looking ones was Bacon Switch, and I really hated the way they introed it with the developers eating snacks together. Like, hey, we love to eat, so I hope you enjoy our game. It's like, this is so dumb. But it's kind of like Overcooked meets, I don't know, some kind of brawler combat, party combat game. Comes out in the summertime. But this one was interesting. I'll pause on this real quick. Super Mash. So at first I thought this sounds really dumb, but Super Mash looks really interesting. So what you do at the beginning is you're a brother and sister who are running an old school video game rental shop, and you find this magical video game console that allows you to pick two genres, and then the game will mash them together and create a unique experience for you. And it's very Super Nintendo PS1 style visuals. But the idea is, hey, I combined platformer with brawler, which I guess that's too basic, or like RPG with racing, and it'll just like shove those two styles together and create an experience for you. I have no idea. I have no idea if it's going to work well, but as someone who I don't like to build game worlds. Like, people talk about Minecraft and this game Dreams coming for PS4, and I admire the creativity of others. I have no interest in taking time to learn how to build these things. It's just not my thing. And so a game like Super Mash catches my attention because I'm like, hey, it'll auto-generate something for me. And so that's kind of cool. So
it's a lot of different things to mix together. Like, they're programming literally all these different genres of games, and then or the mixture of them. Yep. Which is pretty cool. So
if you go look at the trailer for it, you'll see the wide variety, everything, top-down shooters and RPGs and brawlers and all kinds of stuff. So racing games, they're all mixed together. The Talos Principle Deluxe Edition is available now on Switch. I was always interested in that when I saw it on other consoles. I just never grabbed it. So not sure if it's something that's worth my time, but who knows. Sail Forth. Speaking of pirating, it's got kind of cel-shaded visuals. Reminded me a little bit of that Zelda game on the GameCube. What's that one called? The Wind Waker. A little cel-shaded. You're sailing around, pirating, and upgrading your ship. All that kind of stuff. Looks okay. And then Dauntless, they did announce. Switch owners have been waiting. When is Dauntless going to arrive? They said it's coming soon. Well, then it was one of those moments where they said, hey, Dauntless is available right now. And so that you could grab Dauntless for free. You get all their new content, and then you get some free, like a free outfit basically for Switch players. So that's why my kids and I have been jumping into that. It's pretty fun. Murder by Numbers is a visual novel. Check that out if that is your thing. Axiom Verge 2 was a pretty big announcement for indie game fans. Comes out in the fall. Skatebird is just what it sounds like. It's birds that are skateboarding. Now, Derek, this one is for you. And I highly recommend, first of all, that you guys keep moving furniture or whatever you're doing over there.
What is happening? I go away for 2 seconds.
I was going to tell him about this next one, but I'll skip it till he comes back in here. The Survivalists is from Team 17, the folks who did The Escapist and many other games. And it is set in the Escapist universe. So The Survivalist is coming out. But anyway, this one I think Derek will be interested in. Derek, if you haven't seen the trailer for this, you got to go watch it. It's called Boyfriend Dungeon.
Oh, yeah, sounds great.
And basically, you are a girl who's going around these procedurally generated dungeons, and the weapons that you use are actually your boyfriends. And they're all super hot, and they're all super into you. And each one of them has a different set of moves, and they might be a sword, they might be a gun. Who knows? They could be anything. They are.
Oh, I'm a sword, baby.
So they turn into your weapons, but then it's also a dating sim. So it's a dungeon crawler and dating sim all mixed together.
So basically,
I feel like this game's sexist. I'm just saying it. I don't know how, but
what it is,
objectifying men.
It's a Sasan simulation for you, Derek. So you just picture a Sasan and just play your video game.
Seriously, as I watched it, I was laughing, going, "Derek needs to see this game." The description I put in the notes for this one is just wow, because it's yeah. All right, and then
Well, I'm
lastly
triggered.
but not leastly, Oddworld: Stranger's Wrath is coming in January, probably to all consoles, but to Switch most notably. It does not look like it was super up-res, but I do think it's got some HD treatment to it.
It's interesting that they've been sort of like trying to remake or like revamp those games, and it's taken so many years. They've done Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah.
What's the second one? Abe's
Exodus.
Exodus. Have they even done that one?
They haven't. They've talked about it a lot, but they haven't yet.
Yeah. So they skipped that one, and then they're doing this one because this was the third one overall, right?
It was, and they've got one that's supposed to be coming out, a brand new entry called Soulstorm, but then I heard that might be the Exodus remake. I don't know.
Okay.
The Oddworld universe is interesting and quite funny, but I don't know why it takes them so long. Who knows what's going on. All right, so that was Nintendo's Nindie Showcase. I actually didn't know it had happened until after it happened. I had quite a busy week with lots of aftermath of a car crash stuff to deal with, but I did go back and watch it, took those notes, some interesting stuff, and but nothing to get too excited about from my point of view. And then Sony had their State of Play a couple days later, or was it that same day? No, I can't remember.
I think it actually was the same day.
Might have been that same day. Nothing
The 10th,
super
right?
exciting here either, although a couple of things I did like.
What?
But I'll go through these again real quick. Feel free
There was
to
something very exciting, Tim. Very exciting.
interrupt me, either of you, when you want to chime in on something.
You've been interrupted.
Untitled Goose Game is coming. Should be out by the time you're listening to this. Spellbreak is an anime fantasy battle royale. Basically, they're gonna have a closed beta this spring. If you're into battle royales, Dreams. They did show a new trailer with a whole wide variety of games. I thought
Finally being released.
It's finally got a release date of February 14th. So that's actually a little sooner than I thought, based on all the delays it's had before. But I don't know. I was impressed with the variety of gameplay styles and visuals and all the stuff to be done. But like I said earlier, I'm not that interested in creating games. I just want to play really good games that others have created.
Yeah.
So
I'm super interested in the concept of Dreams, what it is but as far as how to create things, like creating your own art, your own models, like first of all, I feel like you need the PlayStation, the Move controllers?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you need those in order to even accurately make models, and even then it just seems super complicated, and just like the margin for error is pretty high, so I don't know. But it looks really cool and interesting.
Yeah, it does look interesting, although I can't help but feel a little skeptical about it. It's just been so long coming, this game.
There's some pretty crazy stuff though. I've seen
There
some
is.
pretty intense stuff on people have made on there.
Well, speaking of the Move controllers, there's a game called Paper Beast coming to VR, and I believe that's to PSVR and other VR headsets. But you basically control the terrain, the water, and all these origami-like creatures using your Move controllers, and that comes out in the first quarter of 2020. Superliminal is this really trippy first-person puzzle game, very physics-based. A couple of examples would be like your character picks up a Coke bottle or a Coke can, and then the way that you move it around the environment, the perspective all of a sudden is different, and now the Coke can is huge. It's just like this weird,
That's pretty cool.
this like eye tricks that happen with these puzzles. Kind of like those. What's the name of those puzzles or those paintings where the stairs look like they keep going up?
Yeah.
It's that kind of weird environmental kind of plays tricks with your mind.
Trickery.
Yeah, and that's why it's called Superliminal, I suppose. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. Get excited about that.
Remind me, Tim, why I should be excited.
You should be excited because it is finally continuing what was a pretty major cliffhanger at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, I thought.
It just needs to stop, Tim. I actually love the series, but it needs to stop. Stop.
Hey, I'm just glad it's within a year. It's under a year since the game came out. I thought this would be a while till we got that story continued. So if you're really you can't wait to find out what happened to certain characters at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind will take you.
What a trash, overrated piece of crap game.
All right,
And franchise, honestly, it's kind of trash.
What about this one though, Derek? Do you have any interest in Predator Hunting Grounds coming out April 24th?
No, but Sasan tagged me on my personal page to let me know it's the GOAT, and I think he called me a piece of trash or something like that. But
So when I first
then you
saw it,
guys
I
made
thought,
up.
oh, you get to be the Predator, and it's some kind of single player action adventure because it showed upgrades and stuff, and I thought this is amazing.
No.
You get to
it's
upgrade
a
your character as you
multiplayer
go.
game, right?
It's a multiplayer game, and it looks very much like the Evolve style, where you either get to be the Predator or the humans. And I'm like,
Well, it's the same developer that did the Jason game.
yes, yep.
Yeah, it's
Friday the
the
13th
guys who
games.
did like the Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, yeah.
No, but you also filmed it.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
it's
ask them if
11:30
we
at night.
want to if they want our opinions on their argument right now. We'll chime in.
Just
They're
a
just
little
loud. I mean,
little
it's
halftime. Yeah.
annoying.
It's a school night, kids. Come on now. All right. Babylon's Fall looks pretty freaking sweet. And that's Square Enix and Platinum Games teaming up together for that one, and it looks like a Platinum Games.
A little
game.
blurry in some sections, but
Sure.
it looked cool.
Yeah.
Looked cool.
Yeah, very fast paced, lots of swinging weapons all over the place. You're bouncing enemies up into the air, and
They're good at combat for sure.
Yeah.
So
no release date mentioned for that one, but you did get to see a little snippet of some gameplay in that little trailer there. I think they said there's
Just,
going to be more information coming this summer. So,
just a little update. I'm buying a Plague Tale, so we can all discuss that thoroughly
all right, good.
later on.
Such a good
in the
game.
future.
Yeah, but you're buying on PS4, which is trash.
That makes
Alright.
it more valid. you
So it
stupid
actually
jerk.
makes the
One of
game
the-
worse.
One of the coolest moments. Actually, no, this was by far the coolest moment in State of Play, which is overall pretty lame. The coolest moment though was Project Resistance. This project from Capcom, and it was kind of a multiplayer looking thing. And they said, "Hey, we've got a campaign mode for Project Resistance." And as the trailer unfolded,
Yep.
they revealed this is actually a Resident Evil 3 remake, which
They
was
got us again.
leaked
They
ahead
did
of
it.
time. But boy, was that a cool trailer! Even as someone who's not a huge Resident Evil franchise fan, I loved the Resident Evil 7 reveal. That was so cool. They did it again. Resident Evil
Yeah,
3
they keep
remake.
tricking us with
And-
shenanigans.
And it's coming out this April 3rd. So not that long of a wait.
Insane.
This
Insane.
Insane.
Babylon's Fall looks pretty cool.
It does look pretty cool. Yeah.
We're talking about Resident Evil right now. You
I
and
know,
are
but
major
I
fans.
don't
Like, what are you
watch
doing?
anything, so it was like while you guys were talking about it, I didn't watch the State of Play. I didn't watch the Game Awards.
Did you not? You didn't watch the Resident Evil 3 trailer?
Listen,
I
don't
watched
admit
it.
that while we're recording, you idiot.
What
All
are you
right,
doing?
so and
Ah.
last but not least, they wrapped up the Sony State of Play with a new what I would describe as a trailer teaser, because it was like the beginning little chunk of a trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, and they show essentially this really cool looking forest. It looks like an autumn season, and these guys are escorting something through this trail, and then off in the distance they see this guy clearly standing in their path, and they all draw their swords and they're about to fight. And then it says, "Watch more on Game Awards in a couple of days." So
The leaf dynamics are going to be out of control in this game, Tim. Leaf
So-
dynamics.
so many leaves,
So many leaves. So much leaf graphics.
All right,
Leaf
so
graphics.
Nintendo and Sony both had their own little presentations building up to the
So,
Game Awards. Neither
hold
one
on.
I thought was amazing,
But we
they were
need to
both pretty
linger. We need to linger on Resident Evil 3 here.
Oh,
all
please,
right?
yes,
'Cause
take it away.
This is amazing, all right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
clearly they were developing both of these games, right?
Yeah.
Or like one, and then like within a few months they were developing the other. Because I mean, they obviously already have the engine. They had a lot of the assets because Resident Evil 3 takes place before, during, and after Resident Evil 2.
Oh, didn't know that.
So yeah, and in the original one, you're going through, and obviously it wasn't as vast and detailed, but you're going through Raccoon City because, like I said, it's right before and during the events, the outbreak. So I mean, imagine a remake of this. You're going through, these really nice detailed streets of Raccoon, dealing with zombies, and Jill dealing with the frickin' Nemesis, which is gonna. I mean, you thought the Tyrant, Mr. X, was a nightmare. Like Nemesis is that dude times like 20, because he like full on sprints at you. Like it's gonna be terrifying, Tim. So
I can't wait to be terrified.
yeah,
You didn't play Resident Evil 2, you're not going to play 3.
I did fire it up, so I played through the demo of 2,
how dare you?
and then I also did fire up the other one because I know we're going to talk about it with Game of the Year stuff. And it is good, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to talk you guys down from how good you think it is, because it is good,
No,
but it's not.
It is
that
very good, Tim. It is excellent.
All right,
all
we'll get into
How
that.
dare you?
Why
How
do you need to
dare
talk
you?
us down?
I need to talk because I know you're going to be like, "This is the best game of the year," and I'm going to say, "No, it's actually not." You are.
calm down about Resident Evil 2. Let me talk to you about Dauntless. Let me talk to you about how great Dauntless is on the Switch.
I got to play with my kids. And
Dauntless
it's so much
is not even on my top 20, but it's still fun with the kids, but it's not great. Okay. All right, we need to move on because there's a lot more to go over with Game Awards.
Resident Evil 3 is going to be amazing, Tim, all right?
It is going to be...
Shut your mouth.
It's going to be well received by folks who already have decided they're going to like it. Okay.
I'm as excited for Resident Evil 3 as... I know you want to move on. That's why I did this. I'm as excited for Resident Evil 3 as I was 2. Because I've only played through both of those games once. So, well, now I've played 2 a lot.
What platforms did you guys play these on?
3 was
PlayStation 1,
PlayStation,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was PlayStation. I mean, technically they had it on GameCube also.
I thought it was a Dreamcast.
No, that's Code Veronica.
Oh, okay, got it.
Which, by the way, Daniel, you're bringing up the fact that you feel like 3 was being made while 2 is being made. I think Code Veronica is being made as well. So I think they've already set in motion. They already had a plan, and I think they're gonna release all these games.
Capcom's killing it, man. They're doing a great job.
I'm kind of hoping they do that, and then 4, and then. Basically, what they're doing is they're creating a new timeline that connects to 7 and just skipping 5 and 6 because those were garbage.
Well, you say that, but they were 2 of my favorite just because they were fun to play.
All right, 5 wasn't garbage. 5 was okay. 6 was garbage.
They're not like Resident Evil games, but they're fun to play. All right, let's move on. I just wanted to say that I'm really excited for 3.
Tim, basically what we're saying is you're wrong, and Resident Evil 2 is amazing, and you can continue now.
Yeah. No, we'll get to that, but just a little spoiler. He's
going to purposely get some guests on our show that either didn't play Resident Evil 2 or just don't care about it.
No, it's
because he already knows this is
here's a spoiler, and you can start building your case against this now if you want to. But basically, I don't see why it's that much better than most other zombie related games I've played. It's fine, but it's not that great. I'm still shooting zombies in the head, and they keep coming at me. It's just like, all right, zombie game.
All right, bye guys.
Great. Okay, all right. He's really out. All right, so the Game Awards happened on Thursday night. I do think they were overall, my opinion was they were overall entertaining enough. They were fine. But again, just like we've said in previous years, not necessarily a must-watch for everybody.
It started very strong.
Is it cringy, though? It's been cringy in the past.
I didn't think it was that cringy this time.
Except for like all the awards about esports and all that. It's like, all right, none of these people need awards.
I don't understand why. Like, give the you know how all the shows do like awards like in the background where they'll just put like on the screen, this person won best song, blah blah blah, and country trash. But like, why not do that with esports? Why don't you give those awards out, but not on the show?
Because the audiences for those are huge, though, man. Like, I don't care about them.
They're trying. I know they're trying to force this to. They're trying to make this like the NFL.
Dude,
like they want to be.
Everyone knows these names, like the best esport gamers or players, whatever they call them.
Then I am old because I don't know who any of these.
I don't know any of them either, unless they're part of the news somehow, like they are for or against Hong Kong. I don't know. Anyway,
I think it started very strong and then it ended on just a huge whimper, basically.
Why don't we talk about Time Magazine giving Greta Person of the Year and not the people dying in Hong Kong?
Let's
not talk about video games.
How dare you?
Let's talk about Trump
dare you?
And his opinion of Greta, because that's hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the awards. If you guys have any main thoughts on their selection, you can let me know. Otherwise, we can save most of our opinions for who should have won when we do our Game of the Year stuff.
I think Greta should have won.
Greta should have won everything, right? She should have won Best Human Being.
Yeah, bro.
Human Being for Impact Award should have been Greta. But
ironic that Melania is in charge of like the anti-bullying initiative,
and her husband is publicly bullying this.
Yep. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, so best score in music was Death Stranding. You guys have both played this game. Is the music good?
It is, but Kingdom Hearts 3 absolutely should have won.
Okay, that was up for it, of course.
Yeah, like Shimomura, who did the music for Final Fantasy 15, but she's done all the music for all the Kingdom Hearts games.
music's pretty good too.
I will say, and I don't know if it plays during the game. I'm sure it does. But Church's Death Stranding song is really good. Like I listen to their stuff.
All right, so this is what bothers me about that. Death Stranding winning the best music. Like there's licensed music there. that doesn't seem fair to me. I think it should be original music. If you're gonna,
Well, yeah, because it's called best score. Well, it's called best score and music, so that they're basically saying.
I guess that's fine. I don't know. I kind of feel like it should be a game where it's all original.
To
music.
be fair, like Churches wrote that song for them. I mean, it's called Death Stranding.
Fair
but
enough.
I will say this: the music that I listened to, I didn't play as much as Daniel. I'm only 4 or 5 hours into that trash game. Yeah, it's definitely in my top 10. But
I hate you so much.
But I will say this: I didn't like the music that was playing, but I can't say it's bad. I feel like the music kind of fits the game, so I'm actually okay with it because it does fit the game.
I don't know anything about the music.
And
so.
if you figured it out, I just said the game's trash. So what do you think the music is? Trash.
It's trash. Okay, here's where I think these awards get a little weird. There's a couple of categories that I thought it was strange that Super Smash won. But this is one of them, best fighting game. Super Smash Brothers.
That's so
Ultimate
disappointing
won.
because Mortal Kombat 11 is way better than Smash trash.
Well, even that aside, they should have just compared 2019 fighting games. So, whatever. Anyway, so that was Super Smash 1 because it missed the cutoff last year, and it was a December release. So it was eligible for this year. So there you go. So that one won.
But here's the thing. And I know what people are going to say. Well, so is Resident Evil 2. It's a re-release. This already came out on the Wii U. All they did was add more characters.
Wait, hold on. No, Smash Brothers Ultimate is a completely new game.
It's a totally different game.
You clown.
It's so the same. It's the re-release.
It's not. You could say that about literally all the Smash Brothers games then.
Okay, I'll say it about all Smash Brothers.
All right. Let's move on. Because I want to get to the
Mortal
announcements.
Kombat 11 should have won.
I'm more interested in the announcements they had because they had some interesting ones than I am the awards. The best narrative went to Disco Elysium. I highly disagree because I've never played it before, but I don't care. I think Plague Tale should have won.
Thank you so much,
disagree.
Trump. Thank you, Trump.
Best audio design went to Call of Duty. I think any kind of production award that Call of Duty Modern Warfare won is well deserved because that game is highest of production.
I think a little bit Resident Evil should have won that, but more.
Oh, was that on the list too? I forget what else was up for.
The sound in that is insane, but I mean
that was one of the quickly announced ones.
It's kind of a toss up. I do feel like a lot of times for this stuff, it's just like we want to give Call of Duty award, we want to give Resident Evil. Like it's just about like spreading the joy.
I don't think Resident Evil 2 won anything, did it? I don't think it did.
No,
it was nominated for a bunch, but didn't win any
because Jeff was like, it's too good.
It's a
Death Stranding.
So the best art direction went to Control, which I thought was interesting. The more I thought about it, the time I spent with that game, the more I think, it's not a bad pick. Like the art direction in that game is really interesting. The way that they use everything from explosions to a lot of smoke to a lot of reds. The
transforming room.
Yeah. So I don't disagree with that pick necessarily, but I like it. Control is fine as the best art direction.
I'll allow it.
Best action game, I also think was a fine pick, and that was Devil May Cry 5.
Yes.
Pretty well deserving as just a straight up best action game.
Spot on. What
do you think, Derek?
Well, I was gonna say Sekiro, but then they gave in the next award best action adventure game. That sounds like almost the same
action
thing.
Adventure game. Yep.
Okay.
So that one's kind of
so to me, that's the example of what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, Sekiro gets this one. Devil May Cry is a good game too, so we'll give them this one.
Let's give them both one. Best strategy game went to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Anything else winning would have been a travesty.
In that one game that you like, that strategy game, it's kind of a smaller game,
Wargroove, but Fire Emblem's a better strategy game. But Wargroove is really fun. Games for Impact, Derek. Grease won that one. I can tell you from firsthand experience trying to play through that game, it's really not that fun of a game. The art style is really cool on that game. It's really, really interesting looking. But Games for Impact.
That game, Impact meaning like emotionally and stuff, right?
Well, I also thought it was like some sort of... To me, they might as well just call this the Woke Award because I feel like they're just saying which one is giving the biggest cultural, like, whatever. Okay, let's move on.
I don't want to get sappy though, but like I played Grease and it actually did kind of hit me.
I didn't play it.
You are such a wuss. Like you make fun of me about being a woman, but you emotionally are a woman.
Listen, I
don't want to be like a wuss, guys, but I cried over that game.
I can be in touch with my feelings, but at least I'm not crushing.
You cried over Luigi's Mansion 3. Didn't you?
Listen,
admit it right now.
All right,
even if I did, Even if I did, at least I'm not
sports-
crushing my balls.
Best
every
sports
day.
and racing game went to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Everyone seems to love that game who's played it, so that's cool. Best multiplayer game went to Apex Legends.
I love that pick.
Sure.
That's a good one. Best family game was all Nintendo picks, which
Yeah,
and
that
the
was.
winner was Luigi's Mansion 3.
I like that Jeff called them out on that.
Yeah, he was like, Nintendo's gonna win this one, I think, guys. Best mobile game went to Call of Duty Mobile, which
Sure.
I never really tried it, but my pick would have been something like Grindstone because it's a puzzle game. I don't really want to play a first-person shooter on mobile, but I never tried Call of Duty Mobile, to be fair, so I don't know. Best ongoing game went to Fortnite, and they did a big thing where they talked about a big Star Wars thing that's actually wrapping up today, I think. Some kind of thing where J.J. Abrams was going to get online, and I don't know what that was. But anyway, some big Star Wars Fortnite things happening. Best VR AR game was another one that missed the cutoff last year, and it's Beat Saber.
See,
Again,
I have
ahead.
a problem with this
Go ahead.
because, like, I know it's popular and everything, and it's not my style game, obviously. But I feel like that Asgard's Wrath that I talked about a couple months
Yeah,
ago that
that's
I
right.
still want to buy, I feel like it accomplished what we've all been wanting in VR, and I feel like it should have gotten love. I don't know if it was even a nominee, but it's supposed to be an amazing RPG game, like action RPG game, so I'm really surprised.
Beat
To
Saber is
me,
super
Beat
popular.
Saber is just another like VR game. Like you've played a Beat Saber before.
Beat Saber is really cool, and they give you like using the move controllers as like these lightsabers is really awesome. Like as a rhythm game, it's really really fun. But it is strange to me yet again that it's just something from 2018. So it's just weird for me that it won the best of 2019. But also one of the announcements after Green Day did a actually not bad performance. I also do kind of like Green Day, so I'm a little biased. Like it takes me back to my old high school and
That
Pizza
first
Delivery
song
Days.
was just one of their older songs.
That was one of their
Yeah.
classics, man. But
Yeah,
so
Welcome
they
to
actually
Paradise.
played a pretty significant set. They played for about 20 minutes, and then at the end, it talked about how there's a Green Day DLC pack coming to Beat Saber. So some Green Day songs going on Beat Saber. Best performance went to Mads Mikkelsen in Death Stranding. You guys cool with that one?
I mean, I've only
I-
seen him like twice in the game.
I literally just got to a moment where there was more interaction with Mads, so I can't really say for sure.
Okay.
But I mean, he's a great actor. So
He is. He is.
Yeah.
Best role-playing game went to Disco Elysium. What?
I'm gonna have to play it, but that shocks me because I'm not saying it's bad. I'm sure it's good.
I've heard
But
some pretty
to me,
fantastic things.
Yeah, but the Outer Worlds got
Yeah, why?
No, I know. I
Outer
know.
Worlds should have won that one, but I haven't played Disco Elysium. But again, just like before, I don't care. That shouldn't have won. Okay, so the fan vote. They called it
Get 'em outta here.
player voice. I think they called it. There was a tournament style voting for fans, and Fire Emblem Three Houses won that one.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah.
Seriously,
Pretty cool.
Fire Emblem?
Mhm.
Like one of the groups I'm in, Fire Emblem is overly praised. Like I'm
is
a
it
fan
the trucker?
of
Is it the truckers group that loves it so much?
You bet.
They
Hell
love- they
yeah,
love Anime
brother.
boobies and truckers. Anime
But-
boobies and truckers.
But I'm shocked that they would win the fan vote. Like I would think it would be something else, like a
Y'all play
shooter.
that Sekiro?
While I'm hurling down the highway on my truck, playing that Sekiro.
I'm playing that mobile Sekiro.
Hey, you know what that sounds like? Sexy row. Am I right? All right. So moving on.
Tell you
Best
what,
game
the trucker
direction-
life is
That
the
was such a
greatest
dad
life.
joke.
What best game direction went to Death Stranding, and that doesn't surprise me at all because Hideo directed it, and him and Jeff Keighley are BFF.
All right, so who likes this Disco Elysium? Because I think you skipped it or you said it real quick, but
Oh,
it just won another award.
It won.
Fresh indie
It won
game.
the best indie game as well. So it won
All right,
indie
then
game,
it
role
is
playing
trash.
game,
It's
and it
indie,
won
trash. Trash.
narrative. So it won story and RPG. Which,
Yeah.
if I'm being totally honest, this is just a PC game. But as much as I'm making fun of it now, I am interested to actually try this game because it won all these awards.
I've heard some pretty good things.
Yeah, I do want to
so,
try it.
Yeah.
And the game of the year, surprisingly, in my opinion, went to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I was not expecting that. I thought if it weren't
Boo.
Death Stranding, that it was going to go to Outer Worlds. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Should have been Resident Evil.
But yeah, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Hey, listen,
I was actually surprised by that too, but I gotta say I'm 100% okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. It is a fantastic From Software game. As Soulsborne type games go, it is one of the best ones.
I think it's
really good.
the best one as far as playing, like the gameplay.
The combat
Even
itself.
the world, like, and I'm a big, like, by the way, I didn't mention this, but I'm really excited for that Ghost of Tsunami, whatever name.
Shima.
Tsunami.
Ghost of
Uh,
Tsunami.
Because that's probably my favorite, like, that's like my favorite time.
Feudal
period.
Japan, samurais,
samurai stuff.
ninjas.
So,
Yeah.
Sekiro, it nailed that. And I loved everything about it except what I've talked about on the show, and I'll talk about it in the Game of the Year. I cannot stand how they set it up for you to progress through the game. They basically separated guys who are not only really good at the game, but have patience from the people that are just not good at it. Or for me, I thought I was pretty good at it, but I don't have the patience to care enough to invest any more time in that game. Like, I
don't
got
know
to
if
the
you're
point where I was like, I'm done.
a Soulsborne fan, though. I think that's exactly what you want. A game that is relentlessly challenging and incredibly deep. Like, that's a long game. That's a
And
really
I
long
think a 2 years ago, Derek would probably be like fighting for this for Game of the Year in every category. But now, like, I put 20 hours into it. After I was done with my vacation, because they came out during my vacation, so that's why I think I put 20 hours into it. Once I was done with my vacation, went back to work, I stopped playing. I was like, I don't have patience for this, and this is annoying.
Hey, speaking
But
of
we'll talk
Soulsborne
about it
games,
more.
I did play on the Xbox. I played a little bit of Code Vein. You're right, it is pretty fun. And then I played on the Switch because they went on a pretty major sale, Dark Souls Remastered, which also plays pretty well and was pretty fun. So, like both of those what I've played so far. All right,
I like Code Vein more.
let's talk about some of the announcements and updates that were in the Game Awards. There was a lot, and they hit us with some pretty big announcements and some reveals that I thought were interesting. So I'll go through these. You guys interrupt me when something catches your attention. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 has more DLC coming. Cable, Gambit, Iceman, and Phoenix are being added, as well as some new challenge modes to Ultimate Alliance 3. So, again, to me, that's one of those games that's just great arcade fun. Not a Game of the Year contender in any stretch, but it's good arcade fun. I'm glad they're still supporting it. Man-Eater. You get to be a shark. You can even upgrade and evolve to this crazy, weird shark that can go on land and grow metal for your skin, all kinds of crazy stuff. And you get to kill lots and lots of humans. So
Looks pretty fun.
Sounds terrible.
you get to be the Man-Eater. That comes out on May 22nd.
It's also Derek's nickname.
Oh, by the way,
was
the
gonna say.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC comes out on December 23rd, so right before Christmas time there. They talked about this game, Humankind. To me, it looked a lot like Civilization, and it comes out sometime in 2020. I don't know a ton about it, so I apologize. Go look that one up if you like Civ-type games. It's basically you're taking them through these different periods of industry and discovery and all that stuff, and there's combat. To me, it just looks like that hexagon-style turn-based Civ, but I could be wrong. And then one of the funniest and I thought coolest trailers was for No More Heroes 3. I thought this trailer was hilarious. It was this old VHS-style anime. It kind of reminded me of the old Dragon Ball stuff. And
Or like Ninja Scroll or
Ninja Scroll, exactly. And so like you basically get to see this little weird creature and this little boy, and they're saying something like, I love you too, and then he like leaves and says, I'll be back in 20 years, and he flies off into space. And then he comes back down, and it's very wacky. He's now like this really over-the-top character with long white hair, and he has these pink blobs with him that are helping him, and he says that he's a GD superhero, and I'm like, what is going on right now? This is really odd. I didn't know what this game was going to be, and then, of course, Travis Touchdown comes sliding through on his motorcycle, and basically says something about superheroes, and then No More Heroes 3 is coming out in 2020. So it was I thought, a pretty funny and cool trailer.
Yeah, it had those vibes like right off the bat, but I just wasn't like it wasn't coming to my head like No More Heroes. Like but I was like it has the vibe of something I know. But really cool trailer.
I thought it was really cool, and I know that I know it had the little Switch thing at the beginning. But do you think this will come to other consoles just like the one from this past year did?
Well, I was gonna say, did No More Heroes 2 come out? Because No More Heroes 1 and 2, I think, are just Wii.
They are, but then what was the one that was this year? It was like Travis Touchdown.
That was like a side game.
That came to other consoles too, which was interesting.
Okay. Well, they'd have to release 1 and 2 then, I guess, if you want to kind of have that cohesive. I don't know how.
Maybe 1 and 2 will come to Switch though, at least, right? I can see that happening.
Yeah, that could happen.
All right, well, let's get to the real news because I thought this was, and I'm not exaggerating here.
Not expected.
I thought this was a gorgeous trailer. I really thought it was a pretty trailer, and I loved the way they did it. I loved the music. I loved kind of I don't know who it is, but it was a very recognizable British voice giving a speech. I just thought it was a really epic and cool trailer, and then they revealed the next system from Microsoft, the Xbox Series X. Don't hate the name, but I don't love the name. I think it's
not a great name.
I don't like the name.
It's fine.
Not a great name.
But
It's
the
a
Xbox
mouthful.
Series X, but it also looks like a what'd you call it? Oh, a fridge, right? A refrigerator.
Yes, it looks like a
little
fridge.
bit. Everyone's of course making fun of that. I actually kind of like the design. There's a very clear power button, a very clear here's where the disc goes, and unlike the PS4 where it's like, where's the eject button on this stupid like?
Yeah, PS4 is stupid.
It's a tiny little button there.
People that like the PS4 are dumb.
All right, so what did you guys think about what
So you must
saw
like the PlayStation 4 then.
of the Xbox Series X? They of course didn't reveal specs or cost or anything.
Well,
it just said holiday 2020. But what did you think about the trailer and the fact that they revealed it here?
Well, I wanted to ask you guys because you actually care and I don't care about Xbox. Did you think it was a good idea to reveal this the way that they did at this show specifically?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest show for video games. It's bigger than E3 now. Let me say it like this, because E3 is big still, but it's, to me, the whole point of the show is, yeah, you're giving out awards, but people watch it for the announcements, just like the Super Bowl, right? It's the biggest game in football, but most people that watch it are not watching it for the game, they're watching it for the announcements. So this was a time for them to get all the attention on them, plus they were able to pull off a surprise, so that means they weren't, the biggest problem with E3 is, if you announce it there, yes, there's excitement, but then there's more news about what PlayStation's doing, what Nintendo's doing. It's constant waves of news, and you get buried. I feel like with doing it with the VGAs, not only do you have this huge audience of gamers, a huge audience, but it doesn't get buried. The biggest news coming out of that show is this announcement. Are there other good announcements? Yes. But the one that surprised everybody and the one that people are still talking about now is the Xbox Series X. So I think announcing it and being able to pull it off as a surprise. If it would have leaked, that would have ruined it. Because I have to say, Resident Evil 3 being leaked before the state of the play kind of ruined it for me. I was like, oh, I already know they're going to announce this, So it takes away from that whole state of play. But the same thing with this. I feel like it was really smart for them to sneak this out there. Again, they didn't really announce anything. They just showed.
It was more
you the
here's
shape
what the
of
box is gonna look like.
Yeah, I mean, so there's nothing new. Nothing they showed you as far as gameplay stuff. The little video of Master Chief and stuff like that made you go, okay, this is brand new. This game's coming. But it was just, hey, just so you know, this is out there. It's coming in a year. And then here's what it looks like. And then Phil Spencer came out and was like, hey, let's show you a game that we're going to release on this console. That's the part where I thought they really nailed it. Because now
So go ahead and talk about that game.
Yeah, so they nailed it with the fact that they've announced this new console, and now they're showing you a game that's coming exclusively to this console, and I'm guessing PC as well. And that's the next Hellblade game. The first one was what? Hellblade Sacrifice. So this is Senua's
Saga.
Saga?
Saga?
So, it was
Yeah.
Senua's Sacrifice. Now this is Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Okay, so it's the new Hellblade game, which, as everybody knows, I'm not changing my tune on that. I felt like the first one was above trash, but below good.
But dude, this trailer was crazy, right?
But the trailer was really cool.
Her face, the way it
Her
was
chanting
contorting.
and stuff. I was like, this girl she pours everything into this performance.
Did you see
Did
her way
anybody
her
else
face was
feel
contorting?
like this
Yeah,
was
it was
just
insane.
a actual movie and not a video game?
Yeah, it looked
And
like
that's
a movie.
how good they did with this, because it was in-game footage.
Yep.
That's what you're gonna see when you play it. Is that what you're gonna see on the Xbox Series X? I don't know. That's what they want you to believe, but that could just be their PC version of what they want the game to look like on the Series X. But anyways, the point is it nailed it, showing you the box, right, and then showing you that a game that's coming exclusively to that box that looks that good. that people could go, okay, that's definitely an upgrade over what I've been playing. So I think that they nailed
What
it.
do you think, Daniel? You asked the question. Do you think it was a good call, or do you think it should have waited?
All right. So yes, there were a lot of people watching the VGAs for sure. So from that perspective, I get why it may seem like a good idea.
Okay.
I personally think the way that Sony did the PlayStation 4 reveal is the main way any console should be revealed. They sent out an invitation to like all the press websites, everything. Were like, hey, we're going to be doing something big, and everybody knew what it was. It was like, oh, they're going to announce the PlayStation 4. All the eyes were on them on that event that they specifically set up for themselves. They had the system out in their hand. They said, here, I'm physically holding the system. Here's a bunch of games that are going to be on this console. Like,
Yeah, but Xbox has done that too. They did that with the 360, did that with the Xbox One. That's why I said.
well, did they have event? Did they have
they
a
had-
specific event for them, or was
Yes.
it E3?
That's the
just
event where
like,
what's his name really put his foot in his mouth with a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
But
But
then
yeah,
that's
they
fine,
had their
so-
own like special. Like I remember it for the 360. They had the little from the Lord of the Rings, the main dude in Lord of the Rings.
Frodo.
Oh, okay.
What's his name?
Elijah
His
Wood?
name,
Elijah Wood.
He came out. I remember all that stuff. So they've had that before. I'm fine with that, and I agree with Daniel. Like when Sony does that, and when Xbox did that in the past, that's great, and that's to be expected. And I think they still will have like some type of show saying, okay, now we're gonna talk about specs. We're going to talk about price, and we're going to show you more games,
But
right?
that's why it feels kind of less. It's going to be less of an impact. We've
Maybe.
been
Could
given
be.
all these little breadcrumbs. They've been giving us breadcrumbs like, oh, Scarlet, and now here's the like. It needs to be one giant punch to the face.
No,
'cause Sony.
you get the message better if they breadcrumb it. Like, if they
I
shove
don't know.
everything down your throat, you forget things.
Well,
That's
think
why
about-
they do that.
Well,
think
it's because
about
you're an
how-
old man and you
Think
forget.
about how Xbox One. Good one. Think about how Xbox One was revealed, and then I actually think some of the stuff they announced wasn't. It wasn't the worst ideas in terms of moving us forward with the digital world and all that
It
stuff.
was
but
actually smart. It was just
it was
above our
received
heads.
so poorly, and it was too much information all at once that it really killed whatever excitement was there about this new powerful Microsoft.
It was all
console.
about the messaging. Yeah,
It was
the
all
messaging
about
was
how
terrible.
you share games, and then Sony put out their little like funny videos about here's how we're going to share
Yeah,
games
yeah.
with the PS4 and all that stuff.
Well, but there's a way to control that, though. You can obviously choose how much information you're going to give out at an event like that.
But
you don't
so-
Well, that's what we're saying. You're
the reason
literally
I
saying
think
what
this,
you
this
just
was
said you didn't
probably a
want them to
smart
do.
move, and I also think it was a reactive move because they said, what's one of the more gamer friendly, not stockholder friendly, but gamer friendly ways to get part of the mind share as they think about next holiday and the next wave of consoles. It's at the Game Awards. Excitement is high, reveals are flowing, and it gets, in my opinion, it gets the early mind share head start. And I wouldn't be
Plus-
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony reveals the PS5 officially within the first 2 weeks of January.
Yes, so
the
that
first
was
couple
what I was
months, for
going to
sure.
say. They got out ahead of Sony. Does
That's
that
fine.
mean like, oh, because I saw the new Xbox before I see the new PlayStation, I'm going to buy the Xbox One? No, but it gets it out there
Yes.
first. It gets it out there in a surprising way. So that's why we're talking about it more. I'm not saying we wouldn't talk about it if they announced it official. Of course we would. But it's a super cool announcement when it wasn't expected. That's why, let's be honest, that's why we all loved E3. And I feel like it's got
The
become more
surprises.
lackluster
The surprises
because
got
the,
us, yeah.
the surprises are gone. So
Yeah.
I feel like the surprise was good. And back to what Tim was saying, that Daniel, you ended up agreeing with, even though you kind of disagree with them doing this, and that is, it's all about messaging. Well, this was a simple, quick message. And Phil even came out and said it. Hey, we're not gonna give you a lot of details. We just want to basically show you this. We want to let you know it exists. This is when it's coming out officially, like fall of 2020. And here is a game.
What do you
That's
guys
it.
think about the design, the physical design of it? What do you think about
I
it?
I
don't
don't
think it's
like
bad.
it. I don't hate it.
It's unique.
I don't think
Okay.
it's ugly. I think Sony ponies are trying too hard to make it look.
Well,
good.
I mean,
Somebody does.
it's fun to make fun of it, obviously. But
If you have a specific shelf set up, it's gonna piss you off. I keep
well, you
all
can
my
set it on its side.
You can sit on.
right. I did notice that too, but still,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does look like a little bit if you do put it on the side, it's going to be taller, it looks like, than most consoles are.
I mean, it's basically, I'm looking down at my PC. It's my PC tower. It's just not as long.
Not as
so
deep.
it doesn't go back.
For me, I love the way it looks because I actually keep all my consoles across the top of my entertainment unit because we've still got toddlers in the house that like to grab stuff. So I keep them up high. And so to me, it's going to look and function just fine right up there on the top.
It looks like a speaker.
Yeah,
so I'm fine with it. I actually like the light up top, so I would probably want to lay it down so I can see that light. I think that
I'm
light
guessing.
looks cool.
I'm guessing that's an open, kind of open too, where like it makes sense because it's almost like shoving the heat specifically in one direction, and it's just all gonna. And if you're standing it up too, I mean, heat rises, so it's just shoving all
they
of
were
that
definitely
hot air right up.
inspired by PC towers, and they just wanted to make it look different, so they created the 9/11 towers instead.
Well,
it almost kind of looks like an Alexa type of like something like that,
Well, I'm excited about it. I think it looks pretty cool, and because I think Microsoft, despite they certainly have a lack of compelling exclusives from this year, actually the last couple of years. But I think the upcoming year looks pretty promising for Microsoft. Not like the best ever, but it looks more promising than usual. And I do think their new console looks pretty sweet. And Game Pass is really like an impossible deal to pass up. So
Game Pass is great.
I'm pretty excited for the Series X. I don't think they do a great job naming their consoles, but I like the way it looks.
It's terrible.
I think it's
you know what it
terrible.
means, though, right?
It means
using the word series.
It means there's going to be upgrades more frequently, I believe.
It's going to exactly.
Yes, I believe so too. All right, let's move on. There was another announcement with Control. They showed Expeditions, which is a free update that's now available if you own Control. You can go check that one out, and I think it had some new outfits and some new missions and stuff.
Is there any like co-op in Control? Is there any like multiplayer yet?
I didn't see that. If it's there, they
I was
didn't
kind
show
of
it.
hoping that's what the Expeditions were, where you could like team up with friends and like loot and
That'd be
kind of
fun.
become like a Borderlands 3 type style.
Yeah, I didn't see anything with co-op or multiplayer, but
Okay.
they did say, and they didn't give much detail here, but they said the Foundation, which is what they're calling Expansion 1, drops on March 26th, and I believe that's going to continue that really wacky story.
I've been thinking about that game like here and there. I kind of want to rebuy it, but I don't know if I have the time to.
Because you got the physical version and sold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So.
And then there was a trailer for a brand new IP, a new game called Godfall, and it did at the end of the trailer say coming to PlayStation 5. I said that very specifically. But they described it after the trailer as an action RPG. It sounds like it's going to be pretty in-depth, and it's coming...
Gearbox.
For sure
It's like
coming...
Borderlands 3 with melee weapons.
That's what it sounds like. It is Gearbox, and then I forget the name of the developer, Gearbox publishing it. But it's coming to PS5 and PC. I'm guessing it could come to Xbox too. I don't know if it's a Sony exclusive. I don't know the answer to that.
I think before they even showed this is one of them that was. It sounded like it was going to be an exclusive. Maybe it's just a timed one.
Okay.
So they're messaging it as if it's just PS5.
I've
for right
read
now.
that it's coming to PC as well, but I could be wrong about that.
I thought it looked cool in the fact that
Looks
they
unique.
basically came out, like the developers came out and were like, hey, it's not a looter shooter, but they called it something else, looter something.
Looter
but,
slasher?
Yeah, so it's basically, it sounds like it's the Borderlands formula.
Looked really pretty.
But just melee.
Looked really
and it
good.
looked cool.
The four characters that kind of feature at the beginning of this little teaser kind of gave me a new take on the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse type of a thing, where there's clearly these four godlike characters that are getting ready to take on some huge challenge. And I don't know what it is, but looks
I think they're
interesting.
going to fall. They're going to fall somewhere.
The gods are going to fall. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right, and we already talked about Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, really cool trailer there. Bravely Default 2 was revealed, coming from Square, coming to the Switch this year.
Although confusing, because there technically is a second Bravely Default.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is a second one on the 3DS.
It's called Bravely Second, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, yeah, well, yeah.
They changed the name, so...
So I'm wondering if Bravely Second was a direct sequel to that first one, but then this is like a new one, like different story, different characters,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Could be.
So, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But looked cool.
But yeah, of course, it's the folks who brought us Octopath Traveler and the Bravely Default games, and they do good stuff. So that's coming to Switch sometime in mid-2020. Sons of the Forest looks wacky and creepy and pretty awesome. That trailer was crazy.
There was some sexy 6-armed lady dancing around.
She was dancing around and like humping a rock at one point and dancing up on a tree,
Yep.
and then it showed
Sounds
Well,
like game
it
of the year
starts
to me.
off. It starts off like a military shooter. You're in a helicopter, and then that
Yep.
crashes, and then you're following a guy, and you've got an axe in your hand, and then there's a weird 6-limbed, I guess, female dancing for you,
Sure.
and then you're in like it reminded me of I Am Legend, where you're in this dark area, and these zombie-like things are huddled together.
Or the Descent.
Oh, The Descent, yes, thank you. And then one of them
Yes.
stands up and looks at you, and then
Yep.
really strong use of music there to show you the title Sons of the Forest. It looks crazy. So, don't know if that's going to be any good or not, but the trailer was pretty cool. There's 2 League of Legends single-player experiences coming out. That's kind of interesting to me that they're doing this. One's called The Ruined King, and that's coming to PC and consoles. The other one is called... Oh, where did that one go? There it is. Convergence. Convergence is a single-player side-scrolling action game, and it looks more modern, PC and consoles, of course. And then Ruined King looks a little more fantasy style, also coming to PC and consoles. But they're both in development now. They didn't have any other release details for those. But the League of Legends folks are trying to branch out beyond their MOBA roots.
That's for those League of Legend nerds.
Really annoying,
Nerd.
cringy section of the show was when they announced the Apex Legends holiday content. They had Jeff Keighley interacting directly with one of the characters from Apex Legends.
Yep.
I'm
He
not.
thought he was real sexy. He kind of came across as like Derek.
He was
basically.
very Derek. Like, listen, I'm not saying that it was actually somewhat clever, like the writing, what he was saying, but it was annoying, and it went on. It was like a SNL skit that went way too long.
Sure.
So, but there is some holiday content on Apex Legends that is available right now. You can go.
It's cute.
check that out.
It's cute.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps had a new trailer. That game comes out March 11th. And boy, that game looks gorgeous. I can't
It
wait
does.
for it.
It very much does.
It looks so good. So that's coming out March 11th. Weird West is a very strange looking isometric Western horror action RPG from this group called Wolfeye. That one looks very crazy. I know that a lot of developers like to mix kind of the 19th century Western with, fantasy or, sci-fi, actually. Like that game Hard West that I talked about. So this one looks kind of weird, but...
Well, that's what steampunk is, basically, right?
Exactly, yeah. So
Yeah,
Weird West does look very weird and creepy, and it's set in the Western setting. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Final Fantasy VII Remake had a new trailer.
It looks like a pretty solid indie game.
Comes out March 3rd. Guys, this game looks like a lot of fun. It really does. And
You know what? Hey, Derek, I need you to listen up. So this trailer
No.
for 7 Cloud story, right? Just hit me in the feels, man. Just,
Oh my god, you probably started crying, then you had to change your tampon. I mean,
Yep. The music
You
kicked in,
are-
and just there was tears coming out of my privates, my eyes.
God, take your mini skirt off, and can we talk about something that doesn't suck?
all right,
Sure.
so
Like-
Final Fantasy VII Remake does look great, but they also had a trailer during the awards for Ghost of Tsushima. They had the full story trailer, and the only way I can describe it is it just looks so good.
So many leaves.
It looks
Looks
so
good. Let me say this.
And by the way,
I do
it's
wanna-
summer 2020. It did have a
Yeah.
little info at the end. It says summer 2020.
I do want to talk about this for a second, because as somebody who likes Sucker Punch games, I always feel like they fall short of their potential. Like, I feel like this game, while I think it looks amazing and I want to hype it up because it looks like everything I would ever want in a video game. By the way, so does Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Trash.
The game
But
is so good.
Ghost of Tsushima, or whatever the crap the name is,
Tsushima.
looks like, because it's Sucker Punch, I'm convinced it's just going to be like one of those games that's like this open world, just go from area to area, slashing things. Like, there's not going to be a lot of depth. Like, I'm worried about like the story and everything kind of falling short, because I feel like
Hold on.
the only good story, and I wouldn't even say it was a good story, but they just nailed it as far as the twist at the end, was the original.
Okay.
I'm forgetting it.
Infamous.
You've redeemed.
Infamous,
You've redeemed yourself a bit there. That was an excellent. Yeah. Definitely.
But other than that,
I
other
don't know.
one
I
has
enjoyed
fallen
Second
short.
Son and then the DLC standalone.
So
the thing with Second Son is, like, I almost feel like there was potential to take that and almost mix it back with Cole from the first two. But like, it doesn't seem like they're gonna do that, and I think there kind of could be a way where they do that.
The
and
DLC
make,
was good too with what's her name.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. It was something light. The DLC
First
something
Light,
light.
right?
Yeah, First Light. Yeah.
That's good.
But I think his story was it Delson from
Yeah.
Second
It was a
Son.
bit of a
Yeah.
meh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm
But
getting at. I think
that was the
he'll
only
play good. I think he'll look good. I don't know. My other thing is, how good are they going to make this open world? Because I always felt like their open worlds are very. They
Well, it's
look good, but you can't interact with them. They're like dead. They're boring. Like you
Well, it's
can't
feudal
go
Japan.
into building, huh? Well, I
It's
know,
feudal
but I'm
Japan.
saying, like, how interactive are they going to make this open world? Like, are they just going to have it where you're just looking at things, or can you interact? Can you destroy things? Can you that type of stuff?
Well, I mean, the
I
other
think
games
there's
they
a
made were what,
potential-
like Sly Cooper and
Yeah. Well, there was Sly Cooper before that. Infamous.
Infamous. I mean, so here's how I'm thinking of this one. Think about
Just saying, I don't trust the developer.
think about a
completely.
company. What was the company that made Horizon?
I think
I'm
Sucker
blanking
Punch
out
is
on-
one of their best. Gorilla.
Gorilla.
Gorilla
Yes. So Gorilla made what I thought were just okay games before Horizon. And then they all of a sudden kind of came into their own with what I think is the genre they should stick with because they nailed it.
Yeah.
And they created an amazing world. Love it. And who knows if Sucker Punch is going to do this too. I think they've made some pretty fun games. Nothing that I think is world changing, but they're pretty fun, reliably fun games. What if this is their way to step into a more serious approach to action RPGs?
It could be, but they kind of stick to their formula, is what I'm
They
saying.
have in the past.
I think it's gonna fill the void, and maybe they even know themselves that Assassin's Creed not doing a ninja game void. Like people have been asking, like Assassin's Creed,
I
like,
know.
why aren't you
understand that.
making
Why
a
aren't
feudal
you not
Japan?
making this?
Yeah,
Because when I was
So-
watching it, I was like, this is gonna be like, this looks like Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I think the next Assassin's Creed is going to be Vikings, which I'm going to love.
it is.
Yeah, so I think Ghost of Tsushima looks really cool, and I hope I see what Derek's saying, and he very much could be right, maybe probably right. I hope he's wrong though, because I want it to be.
I mean, it's not
step
on
up.
the Series X, so I don't care about it.
I want it to be. I want it to be a step up from. From other
I
Sucker Punch
wholeheartedly
games.
trust them. I think even just based off of the first Infamous that I have.
I
complete faith in
trust
them.
them to put out a fun game. I don't trust them to put out a game of the year, greatest game of all time type thing.
They've been working on it for a long
Well,
time though, so I don't
Last
know.
of Us 2 is coming out the same year, so that's tough.
Yeah, that's
but-
true. That's true. All right, let's move on to something that is coming to Xbox. It's another Xbox exclusive for this year, and that is Gears Tactics.
How
course,
cool
it's
is this?
that
I
This
thought this
isometric,
was super
turn-based
cool.
RPG, tons of loot and customization. They say it's a 40-plus hour campaign.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Comes out on
Which is
April
actually a
28th,
turn off.
and it is going to be on Game Pass. So Microsoft right now, I mean, yes, they've had a couple of weak years in a row. It's impossible to argue that. But they have had a few good releases here and there. Gears 5's, one of those. And now all of a sudden in 2020, it looks like they're going to have a pretty good cadence of exclusives to start the year, and then a brand new console to end the year. With Game Pass, I think has great momentum. I think they're killing it right now.
I was gonna say this like when we were talking about the Series X, and I don't want to overhype it because just like I have my dilemmas with Sucker Punch, I'm gonna say the same thing about Xbox. One of the things I did like when Phil came out and talked is he specifically, and I know he did this on purpose. He said we have 15 studios working on multiple games, meaning like all 15 studios are working on Series X games, and I think there's multiple games in each studio. So we could be looking at 20 to 25 games, not coming out at launch, but coming out in the first year or two.
Launch window.
Yeah, in the first couple of years of the
Of
Series
exclusives.
X.
Yeah.
That would be exclusive to the Xbox and PC for Microsoft.
Yeah.
That is huge. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, so I don't want to overhype it. I'm just saying I think Phil's smart enough to know that when he compares, I don't think he just looks at Xbox and PlayStation and says, well, the only reason why the PlayStation 4 beat out the Xbox is because we had a terrible E3 when it launched. I think he's smart enough to know, yes, Game Pass, all that stuff helps us, and it's really good, and we're going to keep doing stuff
I
like
think
that.
it's keeping them afloat, to be honest with you.
But we have to, when we launch this new console, we have to step up our level when it comes to exclusives. And I think that's why you have been seeing the last couple of years, you're seeing good exclusives, but very rare. They even skipped out on, if anybody knows, no Forza came out this year.
Yeah.
So there's a reason they did that, because they always have a Forza.
We'll have a
that comes out.
Forza with launch this.
That's
spring
what I'm
fall.
saying.
Yeah.
I think they are setting up. I think they've taken the last 2 years kind of off. They were like, okay, Gears 5, that's set in motion. But I think they even delayed Halo. I think their original intent was to get Halo Infinite out on the Xbox One X at some point, like maybe last year or something like that. And I think they were like, no, we're all in on this next one. We did good with Xbox One. We got to do better. And so I did get excited by the fact that I do think we're going to see your Fable 4, your Halo Infinite, the next Gears. I think you're going to see variations of Gears games. I think you're going to see another Forza. You're going to see variations of stuff we've seen before, and they're going to change because I think they've seen what Sony's done, and they know they have to step up their game.
The only thing that's concerning though is, so yeah, great if each of those developers are making, like, say up like altogether 20 to 25 games.
Yeah.
But remember back at PlayStation 3, there was a time frame where they were releasing like exclusives every, like, I don't know, like 3 to 6 months, and those games were not selling that great. So,
because
maybe
of the
sometimes less
system
is
price.
more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully they're all high quality games and
Of
games
course.
that people are interested in.
Like the
But,
guys who make
you know.
Wasteland games, they're already kind of teased that they're making an open world RPG game. That's huge because those guys make good games. Like that's my point, is they've gotten quality studios.
Wasteland
They
3
went
is going to be an exclusive, isn't it? Or no?
Yes. And then you've got it set up where the Outer Worlds is like huge now. This is why this was super smart, because people are like, why is the Outer Worlds coming out on all the systems? Well, we know why, right? The deal is already in place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But now you've bought the studio. The Outer Worlds is very popular. I'm
I'm
not
kinda
saying they're
pissed that
going
you
to do
guys
this,
have-
but they should do this.
They could at
The
least do a
next-
timed exclusive, right? Before they put it on
The
their
next
system.
one they release needs to come out to the Xbox One X or X Series,
X.
and then the PC. And if you're going to launch it on another platform, which I don't think they will, just like I don't think the sequel for Hellblade is going to come out on other consoles, now you have that sequel on your console that other PlayStation-only buyers have already invested in. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of you Sony ponies. Daniel, you're one of them. No matter how much I tell you, this product is good, and they see all these great games, you guys have it ingrained. I only play PlayStation. I only play PlayStation. So
what
you're
is
not
that
gonna buy it.
impersonation that you're doing? What
Yeah,
is that
that's you.
impersonation?
I only play PlayStation.
Is
But
that R word that you do?
what a retard. But I will say this. I think it's going to help them. I do think Xbox is setting
it's
themselves
definitely going
up to succeed huge. And I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to nail it. This is
Listen,
going
I
to be
like-
totally different from
I like to
Xbox
make
One.
fun of the Xbox and all that, but really the bottom line for me is I don't need a third system to add more games that I don't have time to play, okay? So
That I
don't
can
have time.
understand, because I'm
Like,
buying
I have-
stuff and I'm not
I
playing.
have my PS4, which is my main thing. I have my Switch, which is like if an exclusive comes out, then I play that. I don't have time for a third system.
Well,
I
and
literally
that was
don't.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think you should invest in the Xbox. I think you should invest in a cheap Xbox One for the exclusives. I do think you should.
I don't
I
have
do-
time for it, man. I haven't even
Fine.
finished Death Stranding.
All right,
It's
let's
literally
wrap.
been out
Let's
for
move
a
on.
month.
We got to wrap this
It's
up.
been out for a month.
All right, there was a few more announcements. One of them was called Naraka Blade Point. Looked kind of interesting. Back to that kind of samurai type of a game.
Chinese
Very
developers.
stylish style combat. Reminded me a little bit of a Platinum Games or maybe a Devil May Cry. It's real stylish looking. But it's one of those ones that I think could easily fly under the radar. So we'll see if that one makes any waves or not. 9 to 5 had a wacky trailer with a bunch of rabbits
Yeah.
holding machine
That
guns.
was a dumb trailer.
And at first I thought, oh no, what is this weird rabbit machine gun game? Well, that was just a cartoon, and the actual game, which just looks like a Rainbow Six knockoff. It's called 9 to 5.
Yeah, that was very confusing.
Yeah, and that alpha is coming in 2020 for 9 to 5. Black Desert is a full-on MMO coming to mobile. Everyone's all excited about that. Yay, Black Desert.
Don't care.
It's a booby MMO.
New World does look really cool, and at the end I saw a little symbol that said games with a smiley face arrow under it, and I was like, is that Amazon Games?
Sure is.
So that's New World. New World looks really cool. Looks very fascinating. Very dark, too. I was like, oh, Amazon Games, if that's who it is, that's an interesting dark one to really kick things off with.
Yeah.
Convergence, we talked about, that League of Legends game. And then they announced Fast and Furious Crossroads, and they had a really awkward exchange.
Well, you skipped over one, Tim.
Michelle Rodriguez, I'll finish with that one, and Vin Diesel.
Okay.
And they actually came out on the stage, and they're like, "We're gamers like you guys. These are our people. We used to play Tekken." What did she call it?
Yeah, Tekken.
Tekken, or she called it something weird. And anyway,
That was so bad,
it
Tim. It was so unbelievably bad.
that was the other cringe moment. There were two cringe moments, and that was one.
And why does that game look like a PlayStation 3 Xbox
Oh, it
360
looks
game?
terrible.
Fast and Furious Crossroads looks like garbage, but they closed the
God.
show. No, they closed the show out with that. But right before that was one of my favorite reveals too, was that there is The Wolf Among Us 2, and it does say
Yeah,
a
that's
Telltale
crazy.
game series. So very exciting. Love The
Who
Wolf.
bought
Among
them?
Us. I don't know. Probably THQ
Yes.
North. or
Somebody
whatever.
revived them, I guess. That's awesome, though.
Yeah. So.
They've been getting revived. There was something else
Have
they did that was kind of bringing them back. I forgot.
Was
It
it?
was in
Okay.
the news. So
Well, that's good.
So there you
Give
go.
them a
We
second
made it
chance.
through.
But
There was
they've
a
gotta
lot of
change-
announcements.
they've got to change their stuff up, though.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
they need an actual good engine.
I would love it if more developers of those adventure story type games took some notes from Plague Tale. I don't need them all to have. Plague Tale has a surprising amount of depth to its upgrade system and stealth and some of the combat. You don't even need all that, but just some of those pieces. Just make it
I think
more engaging to play.
I think Telltale could have gotten there. They were just so fixated on pumping out a bunch of games
Yes,
instead of actually
they-
making a brand new
I
engine.
feel
that
like
was
all their energy was
you
in
know.
buying licenses to make a new series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead
They
of
were
making
just
a good engine.
they were just copying and pasting the same thing over and over.
You know,
Yeah.
Which is a
So
bummer because
hopefully
they
they
told
do
some
that
good
this time.
stories like Borderlands and stuff like that. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for us for this time around. This is probably
Does
our
it,
last.
Tim? Are we really done? Because you've been trying to shut us down, and we were trying to keep going. I just calling you out there.
Actually,
This is our last non-game of the year show of the year. The next time you guys hear us, we will begin our game of the year debates, trying to figure out what's the best action game and why should everyone care. What's the best overall game and why should Derek care? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to
or
go.
best indie. I want Derek to be in charge of the
we'll
best
do
indie.
best indie. We'll probably give out another badass award, although I was hoping Doom Eternal would come out because then it could be the shoe-in winner. But since that's not out, I'm not sure what it'll be. We'll see. We'll figure those pieces out.
So this is the last episode before Christmas.
Possibly. We'll see
Right.
what that release schedule looks like. But
All right.
been
I
going
was
for
going to
about
ask something.
hour and a half here, so we got some.
I was going to ask something very important.
Let's hear it. Close us out with
Very,
this
very
big
important.
question.
I need you guys to tell me. I need to know if you're also intelligent or if you're dumb. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I already gave you the facts.
No,
I told
I
you
need a
Mary
yes or
and
a no.
Joseph, there's actual factual proof that Mary and Joseph were watching Die Hard.
All right.
I
that's
love
not-
that.
They were
That was so funny.
All right. That's not actually a thing.
My
but
answer to
I
that
need an
is
answer.
yes. Die Hard is a Christmas.
Oh my
movie.
god! God damn it, Tim! You're the smart one. You guys, I don't understand what you people don't
Let me
get
ask.
about.
Let
It's
me
not
ask
a
you
Christmas
this:
movie.
Is It's a Wonderful Life a Christmas movie?
It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
No, dude. They're both completely not Christmas stories that happen to take place during Christmas.
But I said it's more of a Christmas movie.
It's
I'm
not
saying
more.
Gun to the head.
It's the
I think-
same
well, I
amount of
mean-
Christmas as Die Hard is.
It's a Wonderful
Die
Life.
Hard is literally just an action movie that happens to take place on
And
Christmas
It's
Eve
a
or
Wonderful
what?
Life is literally just basically an
Depressing.
allegory, an old school allegory brought to life right around Christmas time.
That's fine, but that's not the example I would use. I was just saying that I would consider that Gun to the Head more of a Christmas movie. But that's it. It's not about Christmas. Die
It's
Hard
not
is
about
not
Christmas.
about
You're right.
Christmas. That's what makes a Christmas
It's
movie.
pretty
a Christmas
low on the
movie.
scale of Christmas movies, like as far as how Christmassy they are. But it's I think of Christmas time
Like-
when I see it. So
But like people are like,
That's
oh, it's a
I
Christmas
think that's
movie.
what defines a Christmas movie. Is it what? Like, does it make you think of Christmas
me
when
think
you're
of
watching?
Christmas.
Do you watch it during the Christmas season?
yeah,
Can you watch Die Hard outside of the Christmas season? Of course, but a lot of people, once they get into the Christmas season, they're like, well, "I want to watch a Christmas movie."
I mean, also
Oh, Die Hard.
Home Alone is a Die Hard movie. So there you go.
Oh, for God's sake.
It is.
So you know what? That's fine. So it has a Christmas tree in the background. It's a Christmas movie. I mean, like
Yes.
if Thanos
that
is wearing
the rule.
if
That
Thanos
the
is
rule.
wearing a yarmulke, all right, and
It's
beating
a
the crap out of
Jewish movie.
Iron
yes.
Man with a menorah, is that a Hanukkah movie? I
It
Easily
is.
the most anti-Semitic show we've had yet.
All right, let's shut it down. We all know Daniel's
all of
wrong
you.
99.100% time. Let's go.
Thank you guys for listening. It's been an awesome year. Thanks for helping us through the difficult times of Derek not gaming, but I think he's mostly back. And we're glad that Daniel joined us for the second half of this year. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I think 2020 will be all about the Switch for me because I'll be trucking.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, we didn't mention this quick in the Game Awards. They did have an untitled Beaker game with Muppets.
Oh yeah, that was.
I actually thought that was kind of funny. Like, it was cheesy, but I thought it was kind of funny.
I think they need to make that actual DLC.
Because I thought as a kid, I've always thought Beaker was funny the way he meeps about everything. But whatever.
That was a good segment. The Fast and the Furious segment was bad.
Ooh, that was real bad. That was real bad. Yeah. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
All right, bye. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
Shut up.
Who is your daddy? I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things here.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?